No. So with the power purchase agreement, you don't own the system, therefore you don't get the federal tax credit. With the lease, you don't own the system, therefore you don't qualify for the federal tax credit. It's whoever owns the system and installs it and finances it is who gets the federal tax credit value.
Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Solar Talks, where we talk about all things solar. I'm your host, Angie, and this is Yarrow, and today we're going to go over finances and financing in the solar world. So there's three major avenues of financing when you're getting your solar system, and we're going to go over each one of those just in brief detail to give a better understanding for people. So we have the PPA, lease, cash payment, just kidding, it was four, and cash payment financing. So can you go over each one of these categories just briefly?
Okay.
To explain. Honestly, I don't even know what PPA is. I just know that that's a term. So just to give people like a very basic understanding of what that is.
Okay. So PPA stands for Power Purchase Agreement. Basically, it's a way to have solar without necessarily paying for it. So you don't own the system, someone else, a third party owns the system, and you're just purchasing the power that system produces. So instead of paying a utility, what you would normally pay for your solar consumption, you would now pay the owner of the solar system a set amount per kilowatt, and that number could either be locked in for a period of time, or it could be a floating or fluctuating number depending on what the utility rate at the time is. And then for the lease, when it's kind of like a car. When you lease a car, you don't necessarily own the car. You own it or you have it for a period of time where you make payments on it, but at the end, you don't own it. So you get the benefits of the solar while you have it, but you never really come out really financially ahead. And you can't sell it. It's not yours. And then the cash payment is by far the best option, the cash and the cash financing. So, if you have the money up front for a solar system, that is by far the most financially profitable way to go solar, because you get the benefits of the federal tax credit, which unfortunately is going away at the end of the year, and all the other tax incentives that and some utility incentives in some areas that come with it. And at the end of the day, you own the system. When you sell your home, you get to add that on to your home value, and it increases your home value, and you're able to then sell it after you've made your savings on it. Unfortunately, not everyone always has the ability to purchase a solar system outright, and so there are some financing options like home equity loans, personal loans, or in some cases, some installers offer financing either themselves or through some partners that they have. You can reach out to your installer for more information on that.
I have on here HELOC loans. Did you mention that?
Yeah, HELOC stands for Home Equity Line of Credit.
There you go. I learned something new today. I didn't know that. And let's circle back to the lease option. From what I know, leasing a car is a terrible decision. And does that same kind of negativity apply towards a home solar system? Is that the worst one of the options, do you think?
For the majority, that is the worst of the financial options. It makes sense in some cases for some people. Say you have a rental, or maybe you're going to be living in this for a very short period of time, and it's more like a flipper. Something you plan on flipping. You don't necessarily want to invest all the money in up front, but you want the savings in the meantime. Say you live in PG&E territory and the rates are much higher here than they are at other utility companies. By temporarily leasing a system for the time that you have it, assuming you could pass on the lease to the next owner, it could be the best financial option for you, but generally speaking, for the majority of people, the lease is the least profitable of the options.
Okay, so what would you say is the best option out of these four options?
Well, there's a couple more factors that go into it. If you have the money up front, it's always best to just buy it outright for those incentives. But I have come across some people where, even though they have the money outright, they don't really want to put all of it in at once. Maybe they're on a fixed income, or maybe they have their investments in stocks that are making them dividends and growing their value there. In those kind of cases, they are more interested in a home equity loan or a private loan or some sort of loan that has a lower interest rate than what their money is already making for them. So both are great options, and I have seen benefits for both.
Okay. How does the home rebate work with all of these things? So the one that's going away at the end of the year,
Yeah.
the remind me again what it's
Federal
called.
tax credit.
Federal tax credit. So does the federal tax credit work with each one of these options, or
No.
not?
So with the power purchase agreement, you don't own the system, therefore you don't get the federal tax credit. With the lease, you don't own the system, therefore you don't qualify for the federal tax credit. It's whoever owns the system and installs it and finances it is who gets the federal tax credit value. So if you pay for it outright, or even if you get a loan, it's still yours. You're paying off a loan, but you still get to write off because you own it.
Okay. Thank you very much for answering our questions today. I hope you guys learned something about financing your solar systems. And if you have any questions about solar and financing, feel free to drop your comments below, like, share, and subscribe. And thank you for being here.